Hi everyone, this is Randy at About Junior Golf. A lot of us, because golf balls are expensive and they're disposable, basically just pull a ball off the shelf and play whatever ball is convenient or least expensive or gets the best advertising. Most of the things you see on TV, golf balls are based off of how a PGA Tour Pro would play and not necessarily how it would play or perform with your golf swing speed. So the one thing that you really need to know when it comes to equipment or golf balls is your club speed. We did a number of swing tests. One we did with computer equipment at our local golf store. The other was we used a speed stick, and then the other thing we used was the Medicus speed equipment. All three of those basically came out to the same type of swing speed, especially with the driver. And her swing speed can get up as high as 102, but on average her swing speed is 92, 93 mile an hour. That were medium compression balls that perform best for swing speeds in the 90 to 95 mile an hour speed range. One of the first tests I did was with Bridgestone, and the reason I chose Bridgestone is worked recently on trying to find the best ball for your swing speed, and they do tests all over the country, and you can actually go out to one of their sites and you can go on their line, bridgestone.com, and you can go online and you can find a location where they'll actually test your swing speed, and then they will test balls for you, not only Bridgestone balls, but they'll test other balls for you, and they will refer a ball to you. Unfortunately, Bridgestone didn't have any classes anywhere close to us, so we decided to do our own little experiment. And this experiment lasted about a week, and it consisted of a couple of different phases. Even if you read all the press clippings and you read all the technology and you see all the advertisements on TV, the ball that you might think is the best for you, until you try it, just like a club, until you get it out on the course, you really don't know how it's going to perform. So we took the Bridgestone sample packs, and the two balls that we liked the best out of the Bridgestone were the Tour B330 and the B330S, which here's the B330S, which we like this one the best because it has very similar spin characteristics and field characteristics as the Pro V1, which is actually the ball that my daughter's played for several years now. Everybody knows Pro V1. So we were trying to look for a ball that basically had the same spin characteristic as a Pro V1 because my daughter has a really good short game, and we wanted to complement that with distance off the tee. So some of the other balls that we tried were the Srixon Z-Star, which is a really good ball, but not any less expensive than the Pro V1. And then a new ball that I didn't know really much about that I kind of added at the end of the test, and I'll talk to you more about that in a minute, is the Tour IX, which is probably Callaway's Pro V1X ball and not the Pro V1 ball. And then we used the also the Lady Precept, the ball that Paula Creamer plays, and my daughter's a big Paula Creamer fan, so we gave that ball a try. And there were a couple other balls that we tried, including the Pro V1X, and I can't remember what they were. Anyway, the way the test worked was I marked out all the logos, so you didn't really know. I mean, if you know golf balls, you can probably figure out what they are, but just as you're picking them up and teeing them up, you really don't know. So we mark them out, and my daughter likes to mark her balls with a flower, so that's a flower in her initial. Her name's Brittany, and she made a color code, and then I took the color codes and figured out what ball it was, and ran the test from that. So over a period of about 3 or 4 rounds, we took 3 balls for each round, and off the tee we would she would hit 3 balls, and then we would judge the distance off the tee, and then at the end of that round we would take the winner of that day's round, and she would do some short game drills and putting and some other things with the ball she had chosen, and kind of compare that ball to characteristics of the Pro V1, which was the ball that we were looking at. And we didn't know if the Pro V1 was still going to be the winner or if a new ball would be the winner. So anyway, over a period of 3 or 4 rounds, we came up with finalist 3 balls, which were actually the Srixon. Where'd I put it? Srixon was part of the finalists. Pro V1 was part of the finalists. The Pro V1X, which I don't have one of those balls here now. And then I added the Callaway Tour in because it was a ball that I'd just become aware of, which has basically the same characteristics as the Pro V1X. We quickly eliminated the Callaway only because it really, once again, goes back to the individual person. It performed as well as all the other balls, except for it had a feel to it that my daughter didn't like. It had kind of a clicky feel, and she likes more of the Pro V1 feel, which is more of a softer feel. And that was one reason why she really liked the Srixon, even though she didn't know what ball it was, but the color code was. She kept thinking that was the Pro V1 that she was playing, because every once in a while she'd say, I just like that ball the best, thinking it was Pro V1, but it wasn't. It was actually the Srixon. So we eliminated the Callaway in the finalists pretty quickly within a couple of holes. Dropped it down to 3 balls, which was the Srixon, the Pro V1X, and the Pro V1. Throughout the round, 14 holes, of course, 14 fairways, we found that the Pro V1 and the Srixon were almost identical in distance off the tee every hole. And surprisingly, because of the characteristics of the old Pro V1X, I didn't think would match up with her swing speed and ball flight and everything. But come to find out, it was the Pro V1X was actually about 10 to 12 yards on average longer off the tee for a couple of rounds. The winner was, of course, the Pro V1X. And so I took the Pro V1X and the Pro V1, and then I had her do a lot of short game drills and things with it. And we couldn't see any visible drop-off in spin characteristics or puttability or anything like that. So for her, the best ball was the Pro V1X. And so spend a few dollars if you have a pro that can give you sample balls or whatever. But do a little research, spend some dollars, mark up the logo so your amateur doesn't know who it is, what ball it is. So it'll be a fairly accurate test. Put some kind of marker on it so you can determine which ball is being the longest off the tee. Now for you junior boys and guys that can hit it a mile, you may not need distance, but you may need something else. You may need spin characteristics or putting characteristics or whatever that will improve your game. And so distance may not be an issue. And there are balls out there that my daughter could play that would actually be longer than the Pro V1X. So Pinnacles and some other balls. They're really hard, but they don't have any spin characteristics. So if you bombers, don't be afraid to lose a little distance to improve your spin characteristics around the green. That'll improve your short game or your putting. So spend a few dollars, spend some time, do a little research, get the best ball for you, and I think you're going to see some major changes in your scores. My daughter's scores over the summer dropped about 3 shots a round, and that was basically because there were par 5s that she could reach that she hadn't been able to reach before, because she's basically picking up 2 clubs, 10, 12 yards off the tee and 10 yards into the green. So picking up 10, 20 yards, all of a sudden she was able to get to some greens she couldn't get to before, and she was coming into some greens with shorter irons on some of the other holes. So it paid off for her. I think it'll pay off for you. Now go make some birdies, and we'll see you next time on About Junior Golf.